and toughest face-off, the biggest names and the most unforgettable moments of the T20 season. Today is not just any Sunday, it's a day of high emotions, big stakes. The first match of the blockbuster doubleheader is already underway, a high-octane clash between Gujarat Titans and Chennai Super Kings in Ahmedabad. And all eyes are on MS Dhoni. Yes, this could be the final time we see legendary Thala walk out in CSK yellow in an IPL game. A man who redefined leadership, revolutionized the finishing and became a heartbeat of the franchisee. Dhoni's legacy is unmatched, and in the second match, it is SRH versus KKR in Delhi, a battle of pride between the last year's finalists who surprisingly didn't make the cut this season. And we can call it a day of legacies, last chances and the late surges. It's all happening right here on Summer of IPL on DD India. So let's get started. MS Dhoni, the name echoes far beyond cricket. For CSK fan, he is not just a player, he is an emotion. Since 2008, Dhoni has been the heart of the Chennai Super Kings. 5 IPL titles, countless comebacks, unmatched calmness, a leader like no other. Year after year, he's kept everyone guessing, will he retire? With that trademark smile, Dhoni always said, wait till next season. This season was tough. CSK finished last. The chatter is louder now. And is it time to move on for MS Dhoni? Even at 43, Dhoni is sharp behind the stumps. His captaincy is still gold standard. But with the bat, he is not the same force. He walks in late, struggles to finish, and fitting him in the team means dropping a younger batter. Yet CSK still bets on him. Why? Because Dhoni is more than just a player. He is the soul of the team. Every decision runs through him. He knows transition is coming. He just wants it to be smooth. As the sun sets on an epic career, one thing is clear. No one has done like MS Dhoni. If this is his last dance, fans will cherish every moment of this. So today it's MS Dhoni, maybe as we can say that Dhoni won last time, and to help us to break down the key battles, team strategies, we have a very special guest in the studio, senior journalist Rakesh Rao. Sir, a very warm welcome. And
thank you so much.
Talking about this today's match, it's Dhoni won last time, or we will see him next year again in the yellow, and what's your take on it?
First of all, when you're talking about MSD, nobody can guess. And he's one of those guys, for all you know, he'll come back next year, or he'll just quietly retire before you even know it. Because he has actually done it with his entire international career. And with MS Dhoni, one thing is very strange. Why do we expect seniors to announce their retirement when we feel that they should leave? This I've seen with people like Sachin, with Vishwanathan Anand, with Leander Paes. I mean, these have served the game for so long, and suddenly, I mean, I'll just add just one bit here. In 2013, Sachin retired, and that was also the year, within days of that, Anand lost his world title to a youngster called Magnus Carlsen. And journalists went to Anand and said, when are you retiring? So Anand was surprised. He said, why? He said, you are no longer the world champion, and Sachin Tendulkar has retired. Now Anand didn't know how to deal with it. He said, if Sachin has retired, it's his decision. And the day I retire, it will be my decision. So why do you journalists want us to retire? Now the same thing applies to MS Dhoni here. Let ex-cricketers, experts, commentators, journalists, all of us as a group, we can discuss it all day, all through. But the point is, it will entirely be Dhoni's call. He's not happy with this. Now it's up to him if he wants to leave on a high. Everybody said when CSK last won the IPL, that was a great opportunity for Dhoni to announce his retirement. But that is what people think, But MSD is MSD. MSD, you give him a chance, it's his decision. So I, for one, I've always believed that, well, this could well be his last match, so be it. But let that decision come, because MS Dhoni can surprise you like he did last year around when I remember he was asked, is this your last match? There he at least categorically said, no, this is not going to be my last match. This was not my last match. So, of course, this appears to be a stage where CSK is sad, CSK fans are sad. Dhoni has shown that he is struggling with the bat, and he has also got back his captaincy on a default, like on a rebound. But at the same time, you're not seeing that same stuff. Why? Because the team is not performing. CSK's formula has always been rely on experience. They have won IPL 5 times based on the same formula, but this time around it didn't click. So does that mean this should be the end of the road for MSD? Not necessarily. So because of the immense respect that he enjoys, let's give him that respect for a bit longer and say that it is his call. I mean, we can sit here and speculate, yes, but the point is MSD's career reflects that he has never allowed you that opportunity to actually, come to him and say anything that you think is right. The players, his teammates, they all try to do that, but MSD has kept his cards close to his chest all through. And to my mind, he has been one of the finest all-rounders this game has seen. All-rounder, yes, because normally you say that an all-rounder is a guy who can bowl, who can bat, who can field. But MSD, in my book, will be one of the greatest all-rounders in the game. Why? Because he is not only a captain, he is not only a guy who can come and finish games. He has proved it time and again. Plus, his keeping abilities apart, his ability to guide the bowlers where to pitch the ball and to read the game so well. I don't think there's any other wicketkeeper captain who has read the game so well. And MSD's results show that. And you ask bowlers, be it, Yuzvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav, Ishant Sharma, Ashwin, all these guys will tell you in their own words that how the presence of MSD behind the stumps helped them get more wickets. That's why I say that his reading of the game has been amazing. So the day he calls it a day, it will truly be an end of an era. And I don't want to use it like a cliche, but seriously, you will never see anybody like MSD ever again.
Definitely, we will not see a player like of his stature again. But talking about, as you mentioned, that he is one of the finest all-rounder, but as we can also say that he is the greatest match winner of all time, greatest finisher of all time,
Yes,
greatest captain of all time, having
greatest
3 ICC.
Captain,
But in that sense, that he is the only captain to have 3 major ICC trophies, and also he took India at the #1 spot in the Test match at first time. But talking about this, he is right now 44 years old. Talking about the CSK's point of view, the franchise's point of view, still CSK can afford to build a team around MS Dhoni, or is it time we can say that to focus on the transition? And today's match, they won by 83 runs. And today we saw their young players are gunning. They bought, as you earlier mentioned, that they always focused on the finished products. But this time they were pushed to bring some new faces. And today, if you take a look, 4 players have the strike rate of over 200. This was missing. So do you think what it is for the transition, or stick, as you said, his individual decision, but from the franchisee's point of view?
See, franchisee will never force him. He is supposed to be the son of that franchisee. He is the favorite son of that state, that city. I mean, wherever CSK plays, for them, it is like a home ground. It is much like Virat. They can play at any venue, home and away, it doesn't make a difference, because the people in this country go and watch individuals. Jersey number 7, jersey number 18, one for MSD, one for, Virat. These 2 jerseys are what these 2 you see everywhere. So for the franchisee to tell MSD, okay, Mr. MSD, you can now leave. No, they will never say that. So what they want is MSD has built that team. And he's not just another player who's 44 years old. His age apart, look at his agility behind the stumps. I mean, he has proved it even in this season that when it comes to alacrity, when it comes to agility, when it comes to reflexes, you can't touch him. yes, his bat has failed him, his reputation has failed him a bit, but that doesn't mean so much. But from the franchisee's perspective, I still feel that they'll still like him to be around, because as I said, there is no mentor quite like him. And if next season onwards, if they focus on youngsters, you need MSD in that dressing room. He can be there as a player, not as a captain, but he can still be around as a mentor. But you can't imagine CSK playing a match without MSD in its midst. So I still see that as and when MSD decides to call it a day, that will be, of course, as I said, it will be his call. But from the franchisee's perspective, I think MSD is indispensable.
Definitely, a player like MSD is indispensable, because as you mentioned that right now they have many young players, and they need a mentor around them, to a player like Dhoni, so that he can guide him. But what CSK should do to rise from this position for the next season? Right now they are at the rock bottom. So how can they emerge from that thing?
Narayan, that's not difficult. That is because this time they haven't shown form. Now just imagine, they are the lowermost, as you said, they are 10th on that list of 10 teams. They beat the team which was number 1 by a massive margin. You win a 20-over game with 4 times that number. That is a huge win. It is like winning a 50-over game by, say, something like 215 runs. Can you imagine that kind of a margin of win? So CSK has done to GT just that. Lowest ranked team is beating the highest ranked team by a huge margin. So the team, the day it clicks, it can beat any team. So it has very little to do with what they need to do. It is just that their form failed them. Dhoni's form failed him. Now the point is, the team is okay, but then yes, when you look ahead, you have to also realize that a lot of teams have come better prepared for CSK this time around. CSK for years has banked around experience. People have revolved around MS Dhoni. People have revolved around the experience of the team. But this time around, somehow it didn't click. It doesn't make CSK a bad team just because they seem to be the last team on that list. If they can beat GT, whose dream of being their number 1, it's still hanging in balance, because others can overtake them and overtake GT. But the point is, we are here to talk about CSK. So CSK as a team, one thing which it has to do is go beyond experience, because a lot of teams are investing in youth and they're reaping huge harvest there, great harvest. Now for me, youth, it's not something that is a sure shot winning formula, but at some point in time you need to invest. This time they showed some signs of it, and maybe, you can just say that this was a kind of a transitional, this sort of a phase. But coming back to CSK, its core values, the way it has won five IPLs, I think you still have to give it to them. But yes, this time they need to sit down and think about it, because nobody likes to see themselves finishing last. And CSK is one team which has qualified for the top 4 for the playoffs most number of times. So for them, this is a bad piece of statistics to have. But at the same time, I think they have the think tank, they have the ideas, and definitely they cannot go worse than last, right? So next year, I'm sure they'll do better than this.
Definitely, because we know that today, the way they performed in today's match, as you mentioned, that beating a top team, CSK is at number 10, and you are beating a team which is at number 1. But I think the way what really happened with Chennai Super Kings, that all the players went out of form at a single point.
Absolutely.
So that really,
absolutely. It was just lack of form. Their investment in youth was gradual, yes. But at the same time, I still feel that, that team still needs to adapt something different. It's not that you can have the same winning formula year after year after year.
Right.
Because other teams come prepared for you. They know exactly you have a 1-point winning agenda, one plan, and that is take the match deep and win. This time we saw CSK couldn't do it because other teams came prepared to bowl to CSK, especially in the last 2 overs, last 3 overs. And that is where you have to give credit to the team's preparation against CSK. And CSK is also doing its, whatever it could do. but I still feel that they need a few more fresh ideas. And this year, they must have learnt a lot, and expect CSK to come very hard at other teams next year around.
Definitely, it happened in the past also when they were not in the playoff. Next year, they were winning. So hoping that next year they will come hard. But talking about the race for the top two, still on. Gujarat Titans lost after 14 matches. Now they have 18 points. And talking about Punjab Kings, 1 match is left, 17 points. And RCB, 1 match left, 17 points. And Mumbai Indians also have 16 points, 1 match left. Still, they are in the race for the top two. So how you look this?
See, this will be interesting because you'll have to wait till Tuesday, right? But the point is that for the first time in all these years that we have seen, that with 7 matches to go, you knew which 4 teams are already in the playoffs. So 6 teams got eliminated with 7 matches in hand. Never before in the IPL. Now, what it actually does to team is, the teams which have not qualified, they'll go full throttle at the teams which are already there. The teams which have already qualified, they don't have the same intensity left. They want to save it for the last 4 games or the last 2 games if you are in the top 2, and 3 games if you are in the if you are 3rd or 4th. So the point is that intensity is lost. GT is one example which lost the last 2 games, and both the games they lost rather comfortably. I mean, it's like the team which is looking so good. But in a way, it's good that if their bad luck has ended with these 2 defeats, they won't complain. But the point is that last 4 matches, you've seen that teams which are in the playoffs already have lost. GT has lost twice. So Mumbai Indians, on the other hand, nobody is talking about Mumbai Indians as a favorite. I'm really surprised because that team is one team which has quietly sneaked in, lost 4 matches out of 5, the first 5. Then they won 7 out of the next 8. The momentum, if you see, GT has none, Mumbai has everything going in its favor. So watch out for Mumbai Indians. Even if it comes 3rd or 4th, they need to win 3 matches, and it's capable of winning 3 matches and the title. GT, RCB, and of course, Punjab, they are closer to that 1 and 2 spots. Now here is the tricky one. Punjab again, which has never won, they have the best balance, if you see, and that's a very un-star-like team. So Punjab, I trust Punjab to cause a surprise or 2 still, and GT will have to deal with this loss of momentum. RCB, they lost the last match, but they are still capable. See, again, a lot depends on their attack. Their batters have done the job, but their bowlers still don't give me that kind of confidence. But yes, it's still a far superior attack to what we have seen in all these years. So RCB, with its fan following, one of the most sought after teams yet to win the IPL, they will have that kind of confidence that this could well be our season. But don't write off Punjab, don't write off Mumbai.
Definitely, Mumbai, the way you said that, they are the kings of the bounce back, the way they started. Winning the matches in a streak, that's a big deal. But talking about today's match, that is SRH versus second match. The finalists of the last years, SRH won the toss and now they are decided to bat first. So what really went wrong with, especially KKR, the defending champions?
Okay, let's talk about KKR first. KKR, as a side, if you see, they again thought that their middle order or the late middle order will give them that impetus, which they have done all through. If you see KKR as a side, they have won most of the games after losing the first 5 wickets. They had all-rounders up there, bowlers who could also contribute with the bat, be it Andre Russell, be it as a guy who could bowl spin. Sunil Narine could turn the match around. All those guys were not consistent enough. Okay, and Varun is around. You expected him to do something there, but again, collectively they failed as a unit more often than not. So that team somehow didn't get going. They were winning odd matches here and there, but couldn't string together a lot of wins. SRH for me is the biggest disappointment of the IPL for me, because that team, if you look at it, as we normally say, if you have a balance of 60-40 between bat and ball, and even superior is 55-45, you are likely to win more matches than you are going to lose. But in the case of SRH, it turned out to be an exception because they have a superb top order. People who showed form by turns. They have an attack led by the Australian skipper. Now, you have variety in attack, you have variety in bowling, in like batting. Your middle order is clicking and you are batting at a rapid pace. Now, with everything going there, why they couldn't string together wins, that surprises me. Their performance at home was a huge disappointment. Again, a lot happened with that team, but I'm still not able to put my finger there and say what went wrong with SRH. Because they had their, they had everything in their favor. It was one of my favorite teams to be in the top 4. If you had to ask me at the start of the IPL, I would have put SRH as one of the 4 teams in the top 4. But very surprising. And of course, they have tried to make a comeback. And if they win today, they will be somewhere between 5 and 6. But again, it's not something which, the team will be very happy about. But yes, SRH has invested in a lot of good individuals there, and that team is not very far from coming back and winning the IPL again.
Definitely, the way they played last season, in every match they are scoring plus 200. Yeah. But this time around, do you think that the kind of cricket they were playing, a fearless cricket, there is a fine line between the fearless and reckless cricket? They lost somewhere there?
Yeah, Narayan, see what happens is once you start expecting a lot from a team, just look at the way they started. First couple of games, they were on fire. Now, the other teams also know how to deal with it. Let's not underestimate other teams. Yeah. They are relying mainly on the first 3. That is a top order. Their middle order also looked sound, and their attack was reasonably good. Now, when this happens, it's very difficult to tackle a team like SRH. I think SRH lost it between the years. Once they realized that their top order is not clicking in game 1, 2, 3, 4, then they got rattled. And then they didn't know what to do with it. They expected Travis Head to score at least once in every 3 matches. That didn't quite happen. Okay? Ishan was good. Again, started off well, hit some runs here and there. Again, inconsistent. They somehow couldn't get their, the guys around to really score. Unlike GT. GT at least had 2 great openers who kept giving them good starts and stuff like that. Here, they were capable of doing, they could have beaten any team with their sheer prowess when it came to doing it with the bat. But somehow it didn't click. So SRH, again, if you ask me for the match today, although if you look at the last 5 games, KKR has beaten them every single time. SRH hasn't beaten them in the last 5 games. But today, I think it could well be SRH's day.
Definitely, as you mentioned that SRH has played a fantastic cricket, but the way their opening, or especially Abhishek, the way he fired last year, the way Travis said, they failed to the expectation.
Yes.
Yeah. But overall, talking about the IPL, this in very short, what are the key takeaways for you?
I think young openers. I think the way the young openers came out and showed that, okay, normally youngsters give you that excitement all around the world, across the spectrum. You'll see a youngster doing well brings in a lot of cheer. IPL is no exception. When you see somebody like, a teenager coming and scoring runs like that and hitting 6s at will, everybody gets excited. Now you see the left-hander openers everywhere. It gives you hope. Besides that, I think the bowling this time, that has been a disappointment for me. The kind of bowling which you expect, say somebody like Rashid Khan, he's getting tonked like a schoolboy. Right. Very surprising. But then that also means that players have come prepared. It's not just that a bowler is bowling not to take wickets. He's doing his best, but he's getting clobbered. Now, what I'm saying is this IPL will be remembered more for batters dominating the bowling. The number of 200 runs is not the big thing. Even 200 runs are getting chased. That means the bowlers still have to do a lot more. But of course, we know that cricket is a batter's game. The rules are in favor of the guy who is holding the bat. Right. But having said all that, I still feel that bowlers have a thankless job to do. But this IPL, the 2025 edition, the bat has dominated the ball like no other edition, I think. and that is a source of concern. But I'm sure the bowlers will work harder, the team think tank will work harder, the bowling coaches will work a lot harder, and the pitches will be a little less placid. So I think you have to have this kind of like balance. Otherwise, you'll see runs getting tonked, and people will get bored of seeing 200 runs getting chased.
Definitely, as you mentioned, that this IPL will be remembered for the young guns like Suryavanshi and the way today Mahatre, the way he scored Punjab, domestic players. So definitely thanks Rakesh for joining us and giving a wonderful perspective of this IPL, today's match, and MS Dhoni too. Thanks for joining us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me on
with that, we wrap up another thrilling chapter of the Summer of IPL here on DD India. Legends may walk away, but their legacy lives on forever. If this was indeed MS Dhoni's final appearance in the IPL, then today wasn't just a match. It was about witnessing history. So we will be back with more action, insights, and unforgettable moments as the battle for top 2 continues. Until then, stay tuned and keep watching DD India. Namaskar.